That's better, Teddy. Look at you now. See? If you don't do it our way, we won't back you. We pick who wins and loses around here.
You know what? I'm not doing this fake, phony, elitist BS. It's not me. I don't need you, and I'm not going to let you clowns muscle me. I'm not doing this for you. I'm Teddy Daniels, and I'm running for Congress in Scranton, Pennsylvania. You know, Joe Biden's hometown. I despise swappy, sellout politicians, and that's exactly why I'm running.
Joining me now, look, I encourage you to go watch the rest of the ad and support his campaign, is Teddy Daniels. He is a pro-Trump Republican running in Pennsylvania's 8th Congressional District. Teddy, I've got to ask, who came up with the idea for that ad that took the internet by storm a couple weeks ago?
Brother, thanks for having me on. That was actually my idea. The feeling on the ground, Jesse, is that, you know, the rhinos sellout Republicans are doing more damage than the left, if not just as much as the left is. So, you know, we really wanted to point that out, how the establishment politicians, they got their little country club cliques, and they want to hand choose and pick who can win and who they can get behind, and they want puppets that they can control. And I think the whole point of the ad is to show that I'm not a puppet, buddy.
Teddy, is that what's broken? I mean, when I get so much emails to my TV show and my radio show, is people trying to figure out what's broken. They know something bad is wrong. They can feel it. They can't put a word on it, though. What is broken right now in the country?
It's the bought and paid for system, okay? And that's exactly what it is. It's the puppet strings that are attached to these politicians. You look at the 19 Republican senators who just sold our children's future down the drain by voting on this infrastructure bill. So, you know, these guys, they're in D.C. I feel like they're in a bubble. They don't really understand what's going on the ground. And every 2 years, every 4 years, every 6 years, you hear politicians running around talking about kitchen table issues. These guys are multimillionaires. What do they really know about kitchen table issues that real families go through?
And I'll tell you, having been to D.C. several times, they are so shockingly out of touch. They're not out of touch. They're shockingly out of touch. But there are Republicans out there right now, Teddy. I see it all over the country right now, running on taxes. They think taxes are the thing that most people are concerned about. I love low taxes as much as the next guy. I don't think it's in the top 10 of the average person on the right now as far as things they're worried about.
No, you're absolutely right. And you look at the culture shift to the extreme left. That's what's on a lot of people's minds right now. And, you know, the whole attacking masculinity, critical race theory, things of that nature are forefront topics that are on the table. You know, the whole mask and vaccine issue. My wife was just at a school board meeting last night. My youngest son is 4, and he's to start preschool. And they said, well, masks are optional in school, but they're mandatory on the bus. So my wife and I last night, we had a kitchen table issue. What do? Do we homeschool? Do we put them somewhere privately, or do we arrange private transportation for school? I'm not going to put a mask on my 4-year-old son so somebody else can feel safe. And those are the issues right now that are making their way into everyone's home.
All right, Teddy, you are a decorated combat veteran, Semper Fi, by the way. Thank you for your service. Military vaccines, apparently they're going to be mandated. Now, I'm floored, wondering how this can possibly even be legal. But look, when I was a young Marine, a lot thinner than I am now, we took whatever they gave us and didn't really have a choice. Do these guys have a choice?
Well, brother, you know, and thank you for your service as well. And obviously, when I was in the military, I was much thinner than I am now. Hey, brother, a couple bullets will do that to you, you know? Yeah. And, you know, the thing is unfortunately in the military, they don't have a choice. But I think if we dig a little deeper, you know, could this void their enlistment contract? When they enlisted into the military, There was nothing in their contract about a COVID vaccine, an experimental vaccine. Could this void that? I don't know. That's for lawyers to take a look at. But I'll tell you this, and you're aware, only about 10% of the U.S. population is even physically fit enough to serve in the armed forces. This is the population that is least affected by any type of COVID or COVID variant. So I think it's creating a problem where there isn't one.
Teddy, speaking of public safety, I know you're a former police officer. Thank you again for that, by the way. These murder rates, murder rate up 327% in Portland. That might be the most jaw-dropping crime stat I have ever heard in my entire life. Philadelphia, up 25%. I obviously know you're a Pennsylvania guy. New York is way up. I believe it's 25%. I don't remember the numbers. It's skyrocketing across the country. I remember about 15 minutes ago, every Democrat, every entity in the country, and half the Republicans were demonizing cops as a bunch of racist monsters out there hunting down black men for sport. I don't see very many of those same people saying, ooh, I guess I missed the boat on that one.
Well, they're not going to, because it doesn't fit the narrative. And the problem is since the left and the mainstream media started vilifying law enforcement and started vilifying police officers. Brother, I wore the badge for 15 years. I worked the streets. I worked narcotics. And you have to be proactive. New York City, I believe it was, took away the qualified immunity for law enforcement. Cops are not going to be proactive anymore if they go out and they do their job and somebody films something that may be a little bit out of line and they get canceled, they get vilified, they get sued, they lose everything. And I can tell you this, it's one of the toughest, most honorable jobs out there. I couldn't do this job today. There is no way I could do it. But right now, cops are taking a hands-off approach and they're saying, it's not worth the BS for me to lose my house, lose my family, lose my job, and have my face plastered all over the media. Like that officer in Cleveland who shot that knife-wielding girl. LeBron James tweets a picture of him out. Like that's ridiculous. That's uncalled for. And that's the kind of stupidity that needs to stop in this country. You saw the Cori Bush video, okay? She pays $200,000 a year for private security, but we need to defund the police. Well, what about the folks she represents in St. Louis? Can they all afford $200,000 a year for private security? No. And it just shows the hypocrisy from the left.
Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.